Welcome back to episode 19 of the Racing Show. Just going to start by taking a quick look back on some results and performances from last week. Starting on Thursday at Warwick. That's Nice made a winning debut for Nikki Henderson in a novices hurdle. She looks like a nice mare and could be one that lines up in a mare's novice hurdle come March. On the same day over at Thurles, there was a novice hurdle which Minella 6 won over 2 miles 7 furlongs. Probably a little bit workmanlike for 1 to 3 favourite, but did boost the Potter's Charm form line from Cheltenham, which is a positive for him. Moving on to Friday, Ascot. Celtic Dino won quite well in an introductory hurdle in the 130 at 4 to 6. Some good form from that horse. Winners in behind like American Land, etc. have gone on and won since. Our only bet for Friday at Ascot was Gemeronde in the 205, put up at 13 to 2. Was a good winner from the front, jumped well, won at 10 to 3. So that was a nice winner for Friday. The other races on Friday came at Tipperary, where Mirazor West was sent off 8 to 11 favourite in a beginner's chase. That was chasing debut for Mirazor West. Probably was expected to be a little bit better than that. Was beat by 9 to 2, only by the night. Willies will probably come on for the run, but again, one of those that maybe won't be good enough for a novice chase come March. And Sam Majest was making his second start over fences for Willie in the last at Tipperary on Friday. He won by a short head to Shannon Royale. I think they're both good horses. I think that was quite a good race, to be fair. They could be all ones to keep an eye out for going forward in the rest of the season. Moving on to Saturday at Ascot, the 130, Peak Dory won quite well at 4 to 9 favourite. Nothing else was really expected there. He's very good fresh. Yeah, not much more to report on that. Lucky Place won the Ascot Hurdle, which is a 2 mile 3.5 furlong race, representing some Coral Cup form from last year's festival. And moving on to Haydock, where the main action was on Saturday. The 150 graduation chase was quite a good race. It was quite testing going at Haydock on Saturday. Trelawn got the better of Iroko. Both horses jumped quite well. I think Iroko could be aimed possibly at a Grand National. Trelawn's a good jumper. As we know, was sent off favourite for an Ultima last season. Yeah, I think that was good form, and I'd definitely be keen to keep them two onside going forward this year. One of our bets on Saturday was One Big Bang in the 230 Stayers handicap hurdle. He was just beaten by Shoot First in testing conditions. We had One Big Bang at 12 to 1 and he went off 11 to 4 favourite. So an unfortunate loser, but we did have it each way. So we were up in that race. The main race on Saturday at Haydock was the Betfair Chase, won by Royal Pagaille, who defended his crown from the year before. The rain came and Royal Pagaille performed. Grey Dawning made quite a good seasonal reappearance. I'm not too sure he's good enough to win a Gold Cup, to be honest. I think he's very good. He's probably likely to be the best staying chaser that Britain has to offer come March. But after watching what happened on Sunday in the John Durkan, I don't think Grey Dawning would kind of lay up to any of those horses, if I'm being honest. Talking of the John Durkan, Punchestown on Saturday, It's Bilbo won a 3-year-old maiden hurdle, which is quite interesting because he was beaten in France by Willie de Huy, who is currently favourite for the Triumph for Willie Mullins. So that was a bit of a form boost there. Ballyburn made his chase debut at 12:30 in a 2 mile 3 furlong chase. He went out from the front. He jumped okay. He wasn't as electric maybe as he is over hurdles, over fences. I assume he will improve. I think he's too quick to go 3 miles, and I don't think Willie would want to do that. So it kind of only leaves him with the option of the Arkle. He might have to jump a little bit quicker to win an Arkle, but we'll see how he improves from first start to second start. I would still have him kind of front rank and favourite to win an Arkle at this point. Stella Story won the Florida Pearl Novice Chase. It was a 3-runner race, all from the same trainer, same owner. I don't know, maybe just watch that going forward. Search for Glory was second. The first two are probably quite good. Maybe one will go for a handicap and one will go for the 4-mile novices chase. The Morgiana hurdles, State Man taking on Brighter Days Ahead. Lossiemouth was a non-runner in this one. State Man went off 4-9 favourite at a track he's never lost at, and Brighter Days Ahead got the better of him. Made quite the step forward from her first run. Should take high rank in a mare's hurdle if they don't reroute her to a champion hurdle now. I think she's better over further, to be honest. And I also think they probably can't believe they were beaten at Cheltenham in March. So Brighter Days Ahead looks a very, very lively contender come March for Gordon Elliott. Regarding State Man, yeah, I think he's good. He's not great at Cheltenham. He's clearly beatable, as shown by Brighter Days Ahead. I mean, he'll probably win a Grade 1 a couple of times, once or twice this season. I wouldn't have him in March, so I don't think. And that was the action on Saturday. Moving on to Sunday. Just punches time to look at, really. The John Durkan over 2 mile 3 furlongs. It featured Fact File, Galopin de Champs, Fast or Slow. It was an awesome race. Spillan's Tower. There was a lot of good horses in there. A lot of novices from last year looking to take the step up to open company. And a race that Galopin de Champs and Fast or Slow have used as a starting point to the season in the past. And Factophile got the better of Spelanza and Galopin de Champs on the day. Factophile is now the favourite for the Gold Cup on the back of that. I do think that was only 2 mile 3 furlongs. The Gold Cup is nearly a whole mile further than that. I think Galopin de Champs made a very, very encouraging seasonal reappearance to beat Fast or Slow on Fast or Slow's favourite course. Is very good, and as we know, Galopin de Champs usually just gets better and better as the season goes on, as the distance increases for him. He's such a good jumper. I mean, I just wouldn't have Galopin de Champs not the favourite for the Gold Cup on the back of that. I mean, we know Galopin's the one that's going to improve the most, I think. Factophile is obviously very unexposed, very good winner of the RSA last year. But it's going to take a lot for him to win a 3 mile 2 furlong race at Cheltenham against Galopin de Champs, in my opinion. It makes the division wide open, I think. I think Galopin's going to have his strongest challenging cast to date, I think, in this year's Gold Cup. But from that performance, there's nothing for me to suggest that he's not as good as he ever was. So Galopin de Champs would still be my selection for the big one in March. And the last race at Punchestown on the Sunday was a flat race won by Calypso Chance for Gordon Elliott. Could be quite good. I thought Marjax Hill was going to run her, and I thought Marjax Hill was the one that they had kind of earmarked in the yard as being the champion bumper horse. We'll have to see about that, see where he makes his debut. But this one was quite impressive. I'd imagine he would be aimed at all the big bumper races and the big one in March. So keep your eyes out on that. And that was kind of it, really. Moving on to this weekend's action, we've got a 2-day meeting at Newbury for the Hennessy. Starts on Friday. Friday's action, 1:55, is the John Frankham Novices Chase. It's a grade 2 over 2 mile 4 furlongs. And the Jukebox Man looks to be making his seasonal reappearance and his chasing debut here. He was obviously second in the Albert Bartlett behind the Stella Story last year. And from reading comments from his trainer, he's been jumping very, very well and would kind of take top rank in the Ben Paulin yard when it comes to novice chasers this year. There's some other good horses in this race, the likes of Coldwell Potter, Boomborn, Johnny Who are all good horses. Coldwell Potter obviously making the switch from Gordon Elliott to Paul Nicholls, so it'll be the first run for Paul Nicholls. He looked impressive in novice hurdles last season but missed the Cheltenham Festival, so I'd imagine he's going to need the run. Boomborn was impressive last time out, but I think he won quite a weak race, to be honest. Handstands for Ben Paulin, his other runner possibly in the race, would be interesting, but he fell on Chase debut, and I think they think the Jukebox Man is quite a bit better than this lad. And Johnny Who made an impressive Chase debut as well. The Jukebox Man held a few of these, like Captain Teague, and I think there was one or two others in the Albert Bartlett last year. I think he's the best horse in this race. They've earmarked this as his debut, as his starting point for a while now, so I think he'll be ready for this. They always wanted to start him over 2-4 and then look to increase his distance as the season goes on. He made a winning debut last year, and I think he can do the same here. So currently 10-3, I think the Jukebox Man in the John Frankham Novices Chase at 1:55 on Friday looks a good bet. Moving on to the long distance hurdle, 3 mile on Friday, the 3:05. It's a grade 2, and England's hopefuls in the Stayers hurdle will be represented here. I think Strong Leader makes probably the best case for the British contingent, winning well at the end of last season at Aintree. I think he is probably going to be Tihupu's biggest challenger come March, but his start of season target is going to be the long walk hurdle, I think it is, possibly next month at Ascot, or later in December at Ascot. So there is the possibility he will need the run, and if their big aim of the year is to be competitive or, you know, possibly win a Stayers, then he might not be fully revved up for this. Langadan, I think, is definitely better in March or in the spring than he is at this time of year. So I'm not sure how ready he's going to be for this. And I'd make Strong Leader, Langadan, and the one more, Crambo, the clear 3 best horses in this race. Crambo started last season really, really well. Went off the boil a bit in the spring. Disappointing twice at Cheltenham and then Aintree, but I think he is possibly a better horse earlier in the season. He made a winning reappearance to last season. He won the Ascot hurdle, the long walk hurdle that I was talking about being Strong Leader's main aim this year. He won that last year. He's a good horse on his day. I think Fergal can get him back on track here, and he's currently slightly bigger price than Langadan and Strong Leader. And like I said, I think there's some, not question marks to go with them, but I just think there's a case that they're maybe not going to be primed to win on this one. So Crambo currently at 11-4 makes some appeal for me there. Moving on to the big race on Saturday, the Coral Gold Cup Handicap, 3 mile 2 furlongs. Usually a very good race. The likes of Denman have won this off top weight in the past, which was just a savage performance. Usually very competitive. Usually need to be carrying 11 pounds 6 or less to win this one. However, it's Monday, and some of the horses at the top of the handicap that were kind of keeping some horses' weights down have not been declared. So first selection, Midnight River, is actually going to be carrying 11 stone 9 here. He fell in this race last year, kind of just slipped on landing. Dan Skelton, I've read, said that there's some kind of unfinished business in this race. This is his target. He made his reappearance at Wetherby over a completely inadequate 2 mile 3 furlongs. I think he'll be primed for this. I don't think they'll have another target in sight, to be quite honest. And this, for me, would be where this horse had been aimed kind of all throughout the summer. And then one kind of a bigger price and a little bit lower down the weights would be Grandero Bello. Won last time out at Galway, beating Tire Kicker and Stu Zucchini. The reason why I like this horse is because Stu Zucchini came out next time and won the Troy Town, so that's boosted that form a little bit. He's probably maybe well in. He has been put up £3 by the English handicapper. He's actually a 144 rated horse. They've got him off 147. That might mean he's not as well in as he could be, but going off that form, going off the fact that he's been improving with every run recently, I think as an outsider, this Irish raider could possibly fill the frame. But Midnight River, currently at 10-1, would be the selection for the Coral Gold Cup on Saturday.